Hello Lycon lovers, this is Lydia from Lycon Cosmetics. Well, I've been waxing for so many years, decades really, and waxing is wonderful because you can do so many things to clean up the body, remove all the hair, but wax seems to get everywhere. And we can not be always so careful not to dribble it on the pot as we're taking wax out with a spatula to wax. So we have to be able to clean up quickly between clients to keep the salon clean. And there are other situations where you probably need to clean up after yourself, even on clients sometimes. If you get some wax on their clothes, God forbid, we hope never to happen, but it can happen. I have dropped wax on people's hair. And we have solutions for everything. Now, but this time I'm going to talk about cleaning a wax heater. We've got the wonderful Lycon Wax solvent. It is really truly amazing to clean anything, and clothes even, if you get it on your uniform or on your heaters. If you're using metal spatulas, you can also clean those with it. And sometimes as you're waxing, you'll find that the heater ends up with wax at the bottom. You might actually want to change the wax you're using from an insert so you can finish the wax that you're using, clean out the pot really easily, and which will be actually the same way that I'm going to clean inside here. And the wax solvent does a fabulous job. So for these kind of things, it's so important to clean in between every client. You must allow yourself a bit of time to be able to get that done, because it's nothing worse than coming into a treatment room and find that the wax spot is not clean. You're most likely not re-dipping spatulas, but it can still look like something is not quite right. So this is actually just a waxing strip, and I put a bit of the wax solvent on there, so it just really wipes it off very, very easily. You can double it over a few times. I can go in here as well as this area. It's always a lot easier to clean when the heater is actually warm, because there's a bit of heat around here, and it makes it a lot easier to actually move the wax and remove it. There we go. And when you might have to get another one, or you could just use simple tissues as well. So wax solvent on a tissue, and you can use that as well. The same thing, if there's any wax on the dials, you can clean anywhere at all. The grooves on a heater too. But really the neatest and the less messy are the waxing strips, because tissues can fall apart. So I prefer to use waxing strips. They're a little bit more abrasive than tissues as well. There we go. Okay, that's perfectly clean. Now to get the wax from underneath, you can quickly clean the bottom. Okay, so there is some wax in there. Whoops. And a very good way to clean that, you can use the same strip and then you mop it up. The heater is actually on. Careful not to burn yourself. Just mop as much as you can off the bottom and the sides, if there's any on the sides. Turn it over. Okay, so we throw that bit out. And then we can actually also put a little bit of wax solvent directly in the bottom of the heater. And then we can use an epilating strip again, and with a spatula. It's a little bit hot in there to put your hand in, unless the heater is completely off and cool. Otherwise, just use a spatula. There we go. You can do the corners as well, and that is completely done. When you put the wax solvent in a heater like that, when it's hot, there can be a few fumes, so you can have it on lower heat and in a ventilated area would be the best. And do it very quickly, mop it up quickly, so it takes less time. So this is really perfectly clean. Just make sure when you're using the wax solvent, you don't get the wax solvent in the wax. And now we're going to do some more cleaning, and this is a strip wax jar. So it's just exactly the same. We'll use the wax solvent. I've got it on a waxing strip, and the heater is on about 9, and that is about the working temperature of the wax. So we can just wipe away, get everything off. Sometimes you might even get some on a bench. You can clean with a wax solvent that way too. And if you really want to, you might want to close the jar. You might actually be a mobile therapist and you need to close the jar when you go from appointment to appointment. You can clean the outer parts of the jar. There's no need to clean the inside because you're always wiping, you know. You're sort of using the edge of the jar to wipe, so you don't need to clean that. But you sometimes do need to clean the threads of the jar here where the actual cap goes onto the jar. So there you go. Okay, so it's the same system with all Lycon wax spots. This is our lovely Italian heater, especially made for Lycon, and this one doesn't have an insert, so the edges need a bit of cleaning, especially around here. And I tend to dribble the wax a lot when I'm waxing. I'm talking usually and demonstrating, and when I'm taking the wax, I usually have like a strand of wax, so you can just so easily clean that up. Now this heater has a little bit of wax on the sides there, and my nails come in handy to get in the grooves, but you can also use a spatula for that. Wax has a way of getting into everything, so you will love Lycon wax solvent. It just really saves a lot of tricky situation when you have to constantly be cleaning wax off various things. Another great product to use for many things in the salon is the Lycon multi-purpose soft squares. They're great to also clean with, and they're very, very soft and very pliable, so you can actually clean anything with them as well. And they're also fantastic to wrap your spatula. So when you're waxing, so instead of throwing a spatula out, let's say we're doing Brazilian waxing, we've got some wax on there, you can actually just pick that up and continue waxing. So they come in handy in so many ways. So I did mention that, you know, the wax solvent is fantastic to remove wax of clothes, or if you drop on someone's hair. You know, hot wax, when I've done eyebrows, sometimes I actually have dribbled a little bit of wax on someone's hair. A very good way to remove that is to actually freeze the hot wax. If you have ice available in your salon, you can just put a little bit of ice on perhaps hair, or if it's on clothes, you can put it on clothes and you chip the wax off, and the rest of it you would take it off with some of the wax solvent, and you just rub that in, and you might end up with a little bit of a greasy looking mark, but that is completely fine. It'll come off in the wash. So that is just really how easy it is to do cleaning in the salon, on your clients, on the floor as well. Happy Lycon waxing. Lydia Jordan, Lycon Cosmetics.